I've discovered the ultimate vibe coding setup. It leverages Codex, Claude Code, O3 Pro, Cursor, and much more. This setup has made me so productive, it should be illegal. And in this video, I'll show you all of it. So watch until the end. Okay, so let's start with a quick overview of each tool. First off, we have O3 Pro, and this is really great for solving deep bugs, like when you're stuck, when you don't know what to do, or when you're doing an important refactor, O3 Pro is your best friend. Then we have Cursor, of course, the IDE. This is the place where you should spend most of your time as a vibe coder. The next tool that's absolutely essential is Claude Code. You can use Claude Code either inside of Cursor, like I do, or in any terminal in your app just by typing Claude, and this will launch Claude Code. This AI agent is surprising, and a lot of people think it should be compared to Codex or background agent of Cursor. That's not the case. It's completely different because it runs locally on your computer. Again, I'll show you all of that in this video. Then we need to go back to the browser because Codex is the next tool on my list. This has gotten massive updates recently, so even if you saw my previous Codex videos, there is a lot of new stuff to cover, such as choosing the number of simultaneous versions, giving it internet access, and a lot more. OpenAI has really improved it, and I also have some stats showing you later on how it compares to Devin, how it compares to Cursor background agent in terms of reliability, and which of these cloud-based asynchronous AI agents you should be using. So stick around for that. Codex is super powerful, and I'll show you how I use it. Next up, Super Whisper. So this is very different than all the other tools on the list because it's a speech-to-text tool, right? So it's an AI voice tool that transcribes whatever I say into prompts. So I can say, help me vibe code an entire new AI startup, make it a better clone of Discord, and make it Python only. And I can, in real time, speak fast, right? Using something like Super Whisper is absolutely essential to maximize your vibe coding productivity because you can write your prompts way faster. So that's another core part of my workflow. And last but definitely not least is repo prompt. So this is actually probably the most unknown tool on this list, and the way I use it is with combination with O3 Pro. So O3 Pro doesn't live inside of Cursor, right? It doesn't have knowledge of your entire code base and all the files and stuff like that. That's why you have to provide that context. And as the CEO of Shopify, Tobias Lutke, just tweeted recently, prompt engineering is more like context engineering. It's all about what context you provide into the models, because if you provide a low amount of context, any model will underperform, right? So if you want to use O3 Pro to the fullest, you kind of need to use repo prompt, because here you can easily select which files to attach, which files to not attach, and repo prompt helps you construct a really well-structured prompt optimized for tools like O3. So these are the tools, and later in the video I'll show you which two of these tools are the most essential to my setup. Like if you're gonna ignore everything else, these two tools you have to absolutely adopt. I'll be using all of these tools to build my AI startup, Vector.ai. So I'm the founder of Vector.ai, and here is the Kanban of all the things we have to do, right? So actually my workflow is very different. Before I would just work on the Kanban and like pick something, go into Cursor, start working on that. It's funny because I say before like this was 100 years ago. This is literally like 2 months ago, right? Or even a month ago. But now my workflow is completely different. Now what I do is I load up everything. So I select assignee to myself, right? What's assigned to myself. And I just load up everything into Codex. So all of these tasks that I have here is actually just that. I already loaded them up and Codex has begun working on it. As you can see, I'm abusing the 4x feature. So anything that you can run, you can select either one version. This was the OG, right? When Codex was released, there was only one version. But now you can select 4 versions, so there is no reason to do less. And for any task you give it, it will give you 4 different versions. So let's see what that looks like. Maybe this is a simple one. Let's start with this, right? Okay, so this is Vector, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm referencing. So I'm referencing the chat input area right here. The issue is that like some models, we've customized the colors, right? So if you type with Claude, you see the Claude color. But when you send it, the interrupt icon, see? The interrupt icon is not customized to that color. So I think it's better to just simplify it so that, it's just white and you can see the color here. So super simple prompt, right? And then here, Codex runs and you can see the versions, right? So each version, you can just look at it and see if you like that implementation or not. So instead of getting the model color, it just sets a color. And honestly, this is almost guaranteed correct. There's no way this is messed up. Let me quickly look at the other variations. Boom. Very similar. Okay, version 4 has the most changes. I'm going to go with version 1. Seems like the most obvious. So what is the next step then? Once you like something inside of Codex, there's this big white button in the top right, create pull request. And actually, what's beautiful is that we can even use Claude Code to review it. So inside of Cursor, if you install Claude Code, you'll have this button, right? Where you can launch it in the cursor. So I'm going to show you how I actually work. So this is how I work. I just run 2 Claude codes, and I can say, like, for example, run git pull origin. You can see the IDE disconnected, but you can ignore this, doesn't really matter. So we've created the pull request, so we can now click view pull request. It was open GitHub to this PR. So this is the number of this pull request. Let's switch back into Claude. And Claude mode actually has a feature /review, where you can review a pull request. Put the pull request number and say, I need you to review the following pull request like a senior developer would. Answer in short. Now it has the number of this PR. So let's recap what just happened. Codex made a change, right? I gave it a prompt based on something I needed to get done. And actually, it's even better than that, because the main thing about Codex is that it's an asynchronous AI agent. This is the main thing you have to understand. You can load it up. As you can see, I have like 15 different things I gave it. And then you let it work on all 15 at once. You run 4 variations, always. And then you pick one that you want to finish, and you finish it like the last 10 to 20% yourself, right? And when I say yourself, of course, I'm still using AI tools. Like I just used like 4 different AI tools in a quick succession. So let's see what Claude Code is doing. It's asking me to approve GHPR view. So this is a GitHub CLI tool, and I'm going to approve it forever. So this is a file that Claude will add. And also, by the way, you should only do this for safe commands, right? So when I approve it, it gets added into this file, settings.local.json. This lives in your code base with a list of approved commands and also a list of deny commands. By the way, if you want to take this file and just copy paste it into your own code base, it's available in the new society, just like all of my other prompts, templates, whatever. So I actually have a dedicated workshop on Claude Code and Codex. So if you want to take your skill set to the next level and really consume detailed step-by-step modules on these 2 tools, make sure to join the new society. It's going to be the first link below the video. But inside of the Claude Code Mastery workshop, you can see I attached the settings local JSON right here under module 3. And actually module 1 has my Claude MD file. So this is like the system prompt for Claude MD, but more on that later. So inside of any pull request, you can type in this bugbot run. This is a cursor feature that's very new. And this might take like 1 or 2 minutes before it activates. But this is just another way you can review your pull request to find any bugs. Anyways, now we've activated Claude on this. So let's see what it does. It reviewed the PR, blah, blah, blah. Overview, simplifies the send icon. What changed, pros, concerns, loss of visual identification. I mean, that was kind of the point of it. Potential UX regression, approve with suggestion. Okay, whatever. So we can approve it safely, basically. So I'm going to merge it, pull request, confirm merge. And by the way, it's merging to my branch. So this is very important. When you're using Codex, do not merge to your production branch or even your staging environment. Choose like a side branch, right? So this is my personal branch for experimental stuff. Codex cannot be trusted to merge straight into production. Maybe in 6 months, maybe in 12 months it can, not right now. So I'm merging it to my branch so I can do it safely. I don't have to be as careful, right? And this also allows me to build way faster. So since we did that, we need to switch back into Claude, and then I'm going to switch to my second Claude, and I'm going to say, run git pull origin David to get the latest state of the David branch. Boom, I'm going to switch to agent mode with shift tab while Super Whisper is transcribing my voice. And so this is going to pull the latest update. So now it's going to pull the change. So we have it on our local. So if we go in here, let's say blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I don't really like this. I want it to be white background. Let's switch to Claude Code, and I'm just going to say, I just pulled the change to our local. Your task is to revisit this file and make one simple change. When the user starts typing, I want the send icon to be fully white background with dark gray color on the icon. Do not change anything else. This is one of my favorite prompts. Do not change anything else. So, okay, there are 2 main modes inside of Claude Code, right? Either plan mode or auto accept. This is basically agent mode. Plan mode is basically ask mode. Every single software, whether it's Cursor, right? We have ask mode, we have agent mode. Whether it's Claude Code, which has it, whether it is Vectel, where we have it as well, chat and agent, or Codex, where you have ask and code, right? When I am in agent mode, I always end my prompts with do not change anything else. When I'm in plan mode or ask mode, I always say answer in short. Anyways, the change has been applied now. AI is very fast. So if I start typing, there it is, exactly like I want. Beautiful. So I'm gonna say, great job. Let's push this to GitHub to the David branch. Open protocol.md and follow it exactly. Do not do anything else. So I actually broke my rule of splitting it between the two Claudes, but whatever. Usually I have one for agent mode and one for ask mode. Here, I'm gonna actually tell it, open protocol.md and explain how the file works and what the purpose of it is. And while it's doing that, I'm gonna open it myself, protocol.md. This is a custom prompt I have for GitHub pushes. This saves me so much time. Here it's basically described what it does and how it should do it. So anytime I need to pull, I don't need to explain, do not do this, do not do that. I just mention open protocol.md and read the file in full and follow it. And it already knows what to do. It knows to pull first so that we have the latest changes. It knows to stage everything and to write a clear descriptive commit message and then to push it. It knows what to do and it saves me so much time. And this is just one of many like prompts and playbooks that you should have in your code base. So if you look, I have like the cursor/rules file and a bunch of MDC files here. This is markdown for cursor. It's a format of files. And each one is basically guiding cursor. Same with Claude MD. In the Claude MD, again, you can get that in the new society. Just copy paste it, steal it, take it for yourself. This is optimized to take all the MDC files into one. So Claude Code knows all of it and works with it. Anyways, we've implemented this change very fast. Small change, right? Admittedly. So this should be changed that we merge the pull request. Let's reload. It should say merged. Does it not know that? That is been merged. Let's reload here. We need to reload here. When you merge it, it should, oh, there it is. Yeah, purple. Merged. So now it knows this is merged and we can actually click archive here so it's not clogging up our list. And yeah, let's continue working. Let's do something more advanced so we can utilize O3 Pro actually. So which of these is more high risk? Maybe this one, right? So let's look at the prompt actually. Let's start with the prompt, right? Make each project clickable on the task list just like I did with dates. So if we go into Vectel, you can see what I did with dates. You can easily click any of the dates. Actually, let me minimize the sidebar and move the task, let's say to tomorrow, boom. And the task has been moved easily, right? So you can easily change the dates to yesterday, to tomorrow, to next week, whatever you want. I want to do the same with projects, right? So here we have a project, recruiting, but I cannot click it. It's a problem, right? It's you have to click on the task and you have to change it manually, blah, blah, blah. It's slow, so I want to make it same clickable as is the date. So let's see if Codex was able to do that. Let's read what it says first. Notes, some comments, displayed warnings, okay, that's useless. Summary. Added logic to filter available projects by person or team when editing a task projects in line. Extended task item props to include projects and replace the static project pill with clickable project selector. Nice, so this should be a new file, hopefully. Yeah, looks like it's a new file. Good, follow the same conventions as I did with dates. Updated task list section to accept project and pass them to each task list. This looks clean, man, it looks clean. Pass the loaded projects through task list. Okay, so usually the first version is going to be the most sensible, at least from my experience. Let's look at the second one. Okay, so here it didn't create a new file. I don't like that because it's making our current files longer. And this is something that we are trying to avoid, having very long files in our code base. So I already don't like version 2. I'm trying to have O3 review this. I mean, copy pasting isn't really the best, but I want to show you O3, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to have these 4 versions and load them into O3. And actually, I'm going to copy this as well. And I'm going to have Claude Code give me the most relevant files. So here I'm going to do /clear. This is an essential command you need to know to clear your conversation history when you're working on a different task. I'm going to say, right now I'm working on the following GitHub issue. I'm going to paste in the description. Your task is to list out the 8 most relevant files to this problem. Analyze the code base, grab through it, and give me a concise list of the 8 most involved and relevant files. Answer in short. So now Claude Code is going to start running and it will give us the relevant files, which then we will load into repo prompt to construct a really solid prompt for O3. We need to kind of describe what's happening. So let's see. Below are 4 different options of implementation of a new feature in our task list. Your job is to select the one that makes the most sense and explain why that is the best option. Answer in short. So we might change this, but this is like the simple outline for O3 Pro. Maybe the best way is to just load in screenshots as screenshots because it knows like the summary. It will know like the best implementation by the summary. And then we can, I guess, have it review the code in the second prompt. So yeah, O3 Pro can accept screenshots. That's going to save us a bunch of time. So all it needs to know here is like the summary and which files were changed. Obviously, it will not know exactly how, but then for the version that it likes the most, we can provide the specific changes. I mean, it's crazy. Like in a few months, all of these tools will be integrated, so there will be basically zero copy pasting that you have to do. Here we have to change the prompt a bit. So Claude Code is still running, as you can see. It's running really deeply, found 8 files. It's reading through them. It's reading hundreds of lines of code. It already burned 30k tokens here. So it really is going to find the most 8 involved files. So it really cares. Actually, I'm not going to say below. I'm going to say, I've attached 4 different screenshots, each one being a different implementation of a new feature I want to add into our app. In the meantime, I need to take this prompt and have it like summarized into an actual description. So I'm going to use Gemini in Cursor chat to do that. I'm going to say, your task is to take the prompt above and turn it into a clear description of what feature we're adding and why. Answer in short. Gemini 2.5 Pro is really good. The issue with using 2 Claude codes is that both of them are using either Claude for Sonnet or Claude for Opus, right? There's no point like asking the same friend for advice, right? You want to have different people or different AI agents giving you feedback. So that's why it's good to run completely different models. O3, Codex is using Codex 1. It's O3 based. O3 Pro is obviously O3 based as well. So these are OpenAI models. Claude is an Anthropic model. Whether you're using Sonnet or Opus doesn't matter. And then we have to also utilize Gemini 2.5 Pro, which is one of the best models in the world right now. So it's from Google. It's a completely different model family. So it's going to give you very different advice. So now it gave me a nice summary of what we're trying to do. I'm going to put that into repo prompt. And then I'm going to actually say my prompt. Wait, let's check Super Whisper if I transcribe that or not, so you can see history. Yeah, we have this, so I can copy this from the history. By the way, another thing about Super Whisper is the vocabulary. So if there's something that you're saying a lot, like answer in short or ChatGPT or Claude Code or Cursor or /compact, stuff that is not obvious, you can add it to your vocabulary, right here, and it will know that. It will recognize that in future transcriptions. It's very useful. So now we can go, if you lose something, or if you are not sure if you said it, you can just check the history and see like, oh, I already said it in Super Whisper, and you can just copy it easily. So I've attached 4 different screenshots, each one being a different implementation of the feature I want to add into our app. Your task is to help me choose the most minimal and the best implementation, just like a senior developer would, and explain why you like that one the most over all the other ones. Answer in short. Okay, so this prompt is already pretty solid. I'm pretty happy with this. Now we need to load in the files, and luckily Claude Code came in clutch with a list of the files here. So now what we can do is, there's this context builder. See, the issue is that I don't think repo prompt really nailed this that well. There should be like a way for you to like paste in which files to do. You can generate it based on the prompt, and what this will do, it will analyze the prompt with the model here, Claude for Sonnet Thinking. You can select any model, and it will suggest which files to attach, right? No recommended files found. Okay, because I didn't open my folder, that's my mistake. So let me open my folder. Boom. Let's try again. Generate. There's no way I lost my prompt. Well, actually, I didn't lose my prompt because I have it. I have it here. So boom, and I have it here. Super Whisper. I'm copying it from second screen, but you've already seen this, so don't worry, you're not losing anything. Boom. This guy as well. Okay, so now you need to open the actual folder. This is something very important in the repo prompt I forgot. You need to open your repository, right? Repo prompt, it needs to know your repo. So now we can click generate, it will analyze my prompt, it will analyze the repo, and will suggest which files to attach. It's not as good as having Claude Code run for 3-4 minutes and really give you a detailed list like it did here, but maybe some of them will overlap and maybe it will save us some time, we'll see. Anyways, let's start looking at it. So we need task list, task item. Boom, it's the first one. Then we need, by the way guys, if there's an easy way to do it, maybe with the XML or something, where you can have Claude Code just generate the list and then I can like copy paste that into repo prompt, tell me, because I need to know it. So clickable project selector, did it just invent that? Wait, clickable project, no, it didn't invent that. Oh, I already had this file, I forgot. That's my bad. I forgot I already started working on that. Anyways, we definitely should attach this and the date picker so it knows how to do that. Yeah, task item, clickable date picker. So it's suggesting good stuff. It's suggesting, I hate this bug in the terminal. It's very annoying. So these suggestions are actually very good. So maybe you can save your time and you don't need to run Claude Code on this. You can just use the generate feature in the context builder in the repo prompt. But let's double check this, right? Click on project selector, we have that. We have the task, and you can see your files in here. So then we need a simple project selector. Simple project selector, boom. Clickable date picker, we have that already. Then we need use filters, boom. Filter reducer, filters reducer. There we go, and 2 more. Task manager, and the last one is use projects. Okay, so let's see what the context builder suggested and what the overlap is. It also suggested task service, tasks API, so these are not really needed for a front-end only feature. Yeah, this is not as good as the Claude Code. Claude Code will give you much better answer when you have it run and analyze the entire. Look at what it did. 10 different tool uses, 30,000 tokens. Then again, 13 tool uses, 44.5 thousand tokens. It did a lot of analysis of our entire code base. So these are going to be much more relevant. And by the way, you can use Codex for the same reason. This would also work in Codex. Actually, let's try it. Here I'm going to copy the same prompt. And I'm going to run Codex, but not in prompting mode. So let's switch back here. I'm going to run it in ask mode. Make sure to switch to your own branch, David. Boom. And I don't need 4x for asking. So I'm going to run ask mode here. And this means that it will not do any code changes. It will just explain. So you can actually see what it's doing. Like running a command, searching. This is very nice. Like OpenAI has improved the UI quite a bit. And yeah, anyways, let's return to our task. This one that we're working on. So we're constructing the prompt. We have everything. We can see the total amount of tokens. So this is important to keep it below like, I think 64K for O3 Pro. But yeah, keep it around like 40, 50K max. Otherwise, O3 Pro will just reject it and you won't be able to send your prompt. Obviously, we're attaching screenshots, so that will be a bit more. But then you can click copy and we have all this prompt constructed with all the files attached. We switch back into O3 Pro in ChatGPT. We have our four implementations attached as screenshots, which by the way, that's not how I do it typically, but whatever. We're having it review Codex, and then I'm just gonna have it run. So look at the XML tags, right? This is how repo prompt structures the prompt. At the end, we have the user instructions, so this is our prompt. And then we have the file contents above it. And by the way, this is how you should structure your prompts as well. No matter if it's, I don't know, custom instructions in ChatGPT or a system prompt for Perplexity or your own AI agents, using the XML tags to say like, now user instruction begins, now user instructions end. This is very powerful. It's one of the best prompting techniques that is out right now, and all of you should adopt it. So I'm going to send O3 prompt. Why? Because if you know O3 Pro, it can take multiple minutes to run, sometimes 5 or 10 minutes. So I'm not going to be waiting for it. I have stuff to do. So we're going to return to our vibe coding setup. We're going to load up our double Claude code. We can actually, in here, we can start running compact. This is another super important command where it doesn't clear the history completely, but it compacts it, right? So when you run this, it's very important to give it a prompt. Otherwise, it's slow. It can take like 60 seconds, and I hate that. But what I do is I say this. Heavily summarize everything. If you just say these three words, the compact will be much better. It'll be done much faster. And yeah, you'll just save yourself a lot of time. So here we can probably do /clear to clear completely. And by the way, what I like to do is I like to pin my Claude codes. And then I can right click and close others. And we can just quickly clear up everything to get refocused. And while that's running, we're not going to wait for O3 Pro forever, right? I'm going to put that to the side. And I'm going to start working on some other tasks that Codex is already began. So Codex solves the blank page problem. If you are, if you know what that means, it's usually from like authors writing books, right? Or like someone writing blog posts, articles, where you're staring at a blank page. And the hardest part is getting started, getting the first few words, getting the first few sentences on the paper. So the same thing can be when you're starting on a, GitHub issue. Like there's a lot of stuff I need to get done. So sometimes it's hardest to get started. Codex completely eliminates the problem, especially if you run 4x variations, because, surely one of them, like you can see which implementations you don't like and which you do like. And it solves the blank page problem. So even when it's a difficult task, maybe this one is like medium level, you will not complete it with Codex 100%, right? It is very rare. But maybe it does the first 40% of that task. That's already huge. If it's a simple task, like the one we just did, that we already approved and released to my David branch, it did like 90%, and I just did like one final cleanup prompt. That is going to be the case. For simple and medium tasks, it's going to do like 70 to 90%, sometimes 100%, let's be honest. But all you need to do is like kind of review it inside of Cursor, send 1 or 2 more prompts, and it's done. That already is time saving. But for the big tasks, it's going to help you see like which implementation you don't like and which you do like, and that's also priceless. So as you can see, we have a lot of stuff here that's running. And actually, let's see, this finished running. Let's see how this compares to Claude Code. So I asked it the same prompt, and actually it took roughly the same time as Claude Code. I cleared this, but whatever, we can remember it. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, view details we didn't attach. Task list we also didn't attach. Project perspective. Okay, so this suggested a few different files, and honestly, it would have probably been best to attach all of them. So then we would have had like, you know, probably 11, 12 files here, and then our prompt would have even more context, and O3 Pro would probably perform even better. So yeah, this is another very underrated feature, using Codex to ask questions about your codebase. Very, very underrated. Do not just use it for the code mode, use it for the ask mode. This is one of the fastest ways to learn about your codebase. Very OP. Anyways, we can now archive this so we have space for other stuff. Let's see some other simple things that we can do. Let's go from the bottom, because from the oldest, right? Investor issues. Okay, let's see this issue. I'm curious what it says. Where basically there's an issue that the owner sometimes cannot delete. Which, by the way, we just added team plan into Vectel. This is pretty big news. I need to advertise this more. I don't talk about Vectel enough, but if you have a team, this is one of the easiest ways to boost the productivity of your entire team. Instead of using like Asana, ClickUp, Todoist, Notion, all these old school task management tools which don't have the latest AI models integrated, which don't have AI agents built into the app, just switch over to Vectel, right? Like it's a 30-minute process. Move your tasks over to Vectel. We added a sidebar for easy navigation of projects, both personal and team. You can highlight them. You can, favorite them. You can attach assignees into projects just like you would do anywhere else. Boom, edit project. You can see project assignees. Give it custom prompt. This is something that no other productivity tool has. Custom system prompt for each project that the AI agents that you're using, let's say Sonnet for thinking, knows about. If you're working on this project, it will know this system prompt, which is pretty OP if you ask me. Anyways, if you have a team, go to Vectel.ai and move your team over. The team plan has been released. But one bug that I need to change is that sometimes the owner cannot delete the project. So here, obviously, I'm showing it so the bug doesn't exist. But sometimes it happens when there is a project in a specific state where even the owner of the team cannot delete it. It only can be done by the creator of that project. And obviously, as the owner, you should have permissions to delete everything. So let's investigate that and let's fix that with Codex. So let's see. Version 1, some tests failed, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so actually, I probably didn't attach all environment variables. So this is something you should do. And if you want me to make a video on all of the latest Codex updates, I mean, I'm showing you like the version splitter, but there's a lot more. There's the internet access, and there's the advanced setups of the environment where you can attach all environment files and like tell it the startup commands and all that stuff. It's like an entire video, like an entire 30-minute videos just on the latest Codex updates. And there's also MCP connection in Codex. Man, a lot of stuff is changing, like it's impossible to keep up. So if you want me to make a video on the new Codex updates, comment Codex update in comments. And I'll know that you guys want more videos on Codex because there's a lot of stuff. And as I said, Codex is OP. Like there's only 2 tools in the last 6 months I've made dedicated workshops on in the new society, and that is Claude Code and Codex. By the way, both of these you should absolutely watch if you want to be a serious vibe coder. There's also this, which is one of our most successful and popular workshops in the new society, which documents how I built Vectel from nothing, from zero, literally from the first day. If you scroll down, you can see my first day choosing the idea, building the project inside of Cursor, October of 24. This is way before Codex, way before Claude Code. You know, I was just using Sonnet 3.5 in Cursor. And all the mistakes I made, all the lessons, all of that you can see in the society. Me scaling Vectel from zero to over $10,000 in a month. $10,000 MRR. I think the peak was like 12.5K. All of that is documented in the new society. So if you want to build your own AI startup, or if you're just vibe coding and you want to maximize your Claude Code productivity or Codex, make sure to join the new society. It's going to be the first link below the video. Okay, O3 is still running, so let's continue here. Okay, testing failed, so this completely failed. Modified project deletion logic to allow team owners to delete project when active. Even when active tasks exists. That's not what I was asking. I don't like this at all. Version 2, let's see. That's not what I was asking. Wow. Okay. So it missed my implementation. So here, I'm gonna say request. Okay, yeah. So let's do 4x. And again, I'm gonna say, this is not what I was asking. This has nothing to do with active tasks. The issue you need to investigate is related to project ownership. There is a very specific condition or situation where the team owner cannot delete a project because he is not the project creator. So let's say a different member of the team creates a project. That is the creator of that project. However, we need to make sure that whoever is the owner of the entire team has the permissions to delete any projects on that team, even if he didn't create that specific project himself. Investigate the issue deeper and implement a targeted and minimal fix, just like a senior developer would. Do not do anything else. Okay, so now I'm gonna correct it. I'm gonna send code because I want code changes here. And we're gonna send it off again. Now keep in mind, it's not the end of the world that it didn't do it in first try. If it's something more advanced, like this needs awareness of like 15, 20 different files. It needs to thoroughly understand how our tables work on our database and stuff like that. So this is pretty advanced task. So let's not expect Codex to one-shot everything. But again, it's not the end of the world. Just give it correction and point it on the right path. And the beauty is that I have plenty of other things to review, right? I don't have to wait for this to run. I have other things to do. Like O3 is verifying this task is being updated. Let's go for this one. Increase task completion animation speed. So actually this is not related to animation speed, but let's see. Oh, actually it is. What am I saying? Make the task completion animation a bit faster, move into constant TS. Yeah, so let's see what it did. This should be a pretty simple one. Add a new constant. It, instead of being hard-coded, it uses that constant. Same here. Also in task animation styles, it uses this constant. Very nice. And it added it into constants. Okay, I mean, I don't need to review other versions. This is almost guaranteed to success. So again, create pull request. We're gonna create a PR and we're gonna have Claude Code review it simply. And also we can just use the Gemini setup here. So let's do this. Since Gemini already did that, I can just have it. Actually, let me delete everything here. I don't want all the context. Create a concise summary for this issue as well, clearly describing what we're trying to do and why. Answer in short. Okay, now see, this is a bug. Now I see these files even though I ran /clear. Anthropic, if you're watching this, you need to fix it. When I run /clear, I don't want to see the previous stuff, right? I mean, now it's kind of useful because I said we want to compare it to what Codex did, but this is a bug. It shouldn't be showing the previous history when you clear it. Anyways, let's put that aside, and actually we can combine these to make it easier for you guys to see. Here I'm gonna /clear this one, and I'm gonna paste this in as context, and then we need to do the /review, right? So let's remember that. Actually, I'm gonna say, do you understand of what we're trying to do? Yes or no, answer in short. The reason for that is because I want to split it into separate prompt. This is not really optimal, but whatever. Sometimes, you know, when you're vibe coding, you have to do suboptimal things. But this pull request is right here. So let's open GitHub again. Need to copy the number of the PR. And by the way, did the bug bot... Okay, let's see if we can get the cursor bug bot to be activated. That would be kind of cool. It takes like 1 or 2 minutes to register, but whatever. Okay, so here it's analyzing what we're trying to do. That's good, but I just said yes or no answer. Anyways, in the meantime, we can do /review to review pull request. I'm going to attach the number again. Why didn't it paste? 1530. Okay, so there it is. Yes, I understand. Okay, so it already read some files, so it's even better. Now it's going to be up to the loop. Here is the pull request number I need you to review. This is a pretty simple feature, so don't overthink it, but analyze the changes made like a senior developer would and tell me if we should approve it or if there is some serious issue we need to address. Answer in short. Okay, I'm gonna put agent mode here, and it's gonna use the GitHub GHPR view command. So this is the GitHub CLI. If you don't have that set up, it takes like 30 seconds to connect it with your GitHub. and it will allow Claude Code to run these commands to quickly review pull requests, right? So here it look at the div and boof, review approved, and it's approved just like that, right? And now think about the implications. You might think like, okay, David, you're just being fancy, you're using different tools. No, Codex is from OpenAI. It's built on top of O3. So it's a completely different architecture. It's a completely different AI model than Claude Code. So this ran, we have 4 different versions. I chose, well, since this is a simple one, I chose the first version because it already looks good. But first, I know what I wrote, right? So the very first thing is writing a good prompt, knowing what you want and pointing in the right direction. Then what I did is I quickly glanced over the changes, which files it changed, and I was like, okay, this looks good. This looks actually correct. So I created a pull request. Then, my amateur, I'm not a senior developer, so like I'm fine, I'm decent, but like, I don't know everything. I can easily spot some bug. I can easily not spot a bug. So we do a pull request. Then I have Claude Code, which is running right now Opus. If I do /model, you'll see Opus, boom, best model from Anthropic. I have it review something that Codex did, so OpenAI model. So I'm using completely different model to review performance of a different one, and it approved it. So it looked good to me. It looked good to Codex when, it finished it, and Opus. So 3 different entities looked at it and know that this looks good. So the likelihood of this being bad is very low. And again, if you want to stress it, you can ask Gemini 2.5 Pro and have a 4th different, entity, human or model, review it, and you'll be certain. But again, this is a simple change, so we don't need to stress it. But the reason why I'm waiting is I want to show you the bug bot. Let me reload. Hopefully cursor bug bot is here. No, let's look at the previous PR. Did bug bot run? No. Anyways, let's not be waiting for that. I'm gonna merge it now. Okay, this is the old one actually. This is the new one. So versal checks passed, so there is no build errors, so I can just merge it and confirm merge. And then what I can do is go back into GitHub and I can say, great job, I just merged the PR. So now run git pull origin David to get the latest state of the David branch. Do not do anything else. So we will get it locally and then we can test it. So actually we should have tested it before, but basically task completion speed. Boom, this is, I guess, before, or was it already with that? Might have already been implied. Whatever, let's restart the front-end server just to be certain. npm run dev. And I'm gonna close the localhost here. Okay, so localhost, I don't know why it's waiting. Okay, there it is. So let's see if the task completion animation is a bit faster. Maybe it is, but I think right now it's waiting for the DB change. So that's a separate task I gave Codex, but this looks good. So we don't have to stress that. Anyways, we can mark this as completed. It should see that it's merged. Let's reload. It should see that it was merged. There we go. We can archive it so it doesn't take up space. But anyways, is O3 still running? Okay, so it ran for 10 minutes exactly. Wow. So sometimes you have to reload because reasons, I don't know. Anyways, one thing I wanted to show you is actually related to the performance. So, okay, you need to see this. Before we look at what O3 did, this is the performance of the top agents, right? So we have GitHub Copilot, we have Codex, we have Cursor Background Agent, Devin, and Code Gen. And this is the pull requests, right? You can see the total PRs, so Codex is by far the most used. But even more important is this, success rate. And as you can see, the biggest success rate is Codex. So Codex is the best autonomous agent that runs in the cloud, like clearly right now. And the second best is Cursor Agent. So I made a different video on this. I'm going to pop it up on screen where I went into this feature more in depth. But basically inside of Cursor, you can click here, background agents, and it works the same as Codex. You can run an AI agent in the background working on a task autonomously, asynchronously, which means you can give it 10, 20, 30 different tasks, and it works on them at once. So, but clearly by the stats we have right now, and again, this will be different in a week, this will be different in a month completely, but right now Codex is the best in terms of the asynchronous agents that run in the cloud, with 85% success rate of people approving the pull request. Very, very impressive. So Codex is the best one, but I promised you I'll reveal which are the best 2 tools, right? If you strip me of everything and you say, David, you can only choose 2 vibe coding tools to build Vectel. Obviously, Vectel doesn't count, guys. It's my tool. This is what I'm building, right? So obviously, Vectel is in the stack, obviously, and it's what I use every single day to manage all my tasks. But in order to build, right, for vibe coding, it would have to be Claude Code, number one. Claude Code is amazing. I mean, I use it every day for multiple hours. And it would have to be Cursor. First of all, Claude Code is living inside of Cursor, but man, Cursor, like, this is what I've built Vectel with, right? Like, Vectel, from the day one, I was using Cursor. And it's still super useful. So many, like, even the auto predict, like the tab complete, right? You're typing and it's basically reading your mind as you're trying to finish your sentence. Insanely useful, even when you're like typing MD files, like documentation or prompts, whatever. But the Cursor agent and Cursor ask, they're still very powerful. I wouldn't say the Cursor agent is not as powerful as Claude Code. Claude Code is definitely more powerful than the Cursor agent. No question about that. But Claude Code is not a full IDE, you know? Cursor lets you see all of the files. It's built on top of VS Code. So obviously, a lot of the heavy lifting was done by the VS Code team. Shout out to them and thank you for making it open source. But Cursor, Cursor with the background agent again. Background agent. If I couldn't use Codex, I would be using Cursor background agent, which is not as good yet. Maybe it will be better. We'll see. But it will still work. So yeah, definitely Cursor and Claude Code have to be my top two vibe coding tools right now. Anyways, I need to review what O3 did because this is what we're waiting for, right? Pick the first screenshot, the one that mentions use memo for efficiency. Filters are computed inside of, okay. So we have O3 do the first revision, and we're gonna scroll down again. So this is this one. We're gonna choose the first version. We're gonna create the PR, and we're gonna have Claude Code review the PR. So you can see like how quickly we can shred through tasks, and not in a nonsensical way, like a lot of beginner vibe coders just click accept, and run into so many errors later. It's crazy. You cannot do that. You have to really be on top of your game, and you have to make the decisions yourself. We are able to run through these fast because we're using multiple tools to check the performance of other tools. And this workflow really is, again, if I wasn't commentating for YouTube, I would be going so much faster. You guys don't understand. With Super Whisper, being able to speak everything into existence, and these AI agents like running in parallel, man, like this setup with two Claude codes, like most of the times I don't have a Cursor chat open. I have two Claude codes like this. Both of them are running. Codex is working on some other stuff, shredding through tasks. O3 is reviewing some more advanced stuff. We really are living in the future. If your setup doesn't look something like this, and if your API spend doesn't scare you, you're not a serious vibe coder. Anyways, O3, pick the first screenshot. So what we did, we choose version 3, we turned it into a pull request. I'm going to copy the PR number again, switch back into Cursor. I'm getting lost in these apps. Switch back into Cursor. I'm going to say /clear, and I'm going to say boom. Actually, /review, boom. This is the pull request I need you to review. Pay attention because this is a very important change. Make sure to open all of the related files and read them in full, and then review the pull request to see if it was implemented correctly and if the changes make sense, or if there is some serious issue that we need to address. Take a deep breath and proceed like a senior developer would. Answer in short. Boom. And by the way, if I need it, I can just use my second Claude code here to start reviewing something else, right? I can just go back into Codex, boom, pick another thing. Let's say, okay, this one is super easy. Replace checkbox, yeah, whatever. This one is going to be super easy. So I'm just going to create a pull request right away. And I'm going to have my second Claude code review with this one while the first Claude code is running. So let's do clear as well here. Basically, for context, I just wanted to replace the checkbox with a switch. It's just a simple UI change, so we don't have to stress it. I don't have to review all 4 variations. But obviously, I'm always running 4 variations. Come on, OpenAI, you give me the option. I'm not going to be saving you money. I'm already paying $200 a month for ChatGPT Pro, and I'm paying another like 180 or 200, maybe even 250 for my team plan. So I'm already giving you like $500 a month in just subscription costs, not to mention API costs, which is going to be probably another $1,000 a month. Anyways, let's not go there. I don't want to, worry about it. You don't have to worry about the API costs, guys. It's fine. As long as it's increasing your productivity, it's worth it always. I mean, at least that's my logic. Obviously, if you're on a budget, you probably shouldn't be watching vibe coding videos. Yeah, you should not be watching my channel if you're trying to vibe code on a budget. Like what I'm showing you is gonna cost you hundreds of dollars a month. So yeah, this is for people who want to reach the pinnacle of productivity and maximum level of vibe coding. I mean, after all, I'm building my own productivity tool, so that should tell you something about how much I care about being maximally productive. Anyways, I'm gonna copy this. I'm wasting time. Guys, if I wasn't commentating, I would be going so much faster. You have no idea. So I'm gonna do /review, boom, paste the number. Your task is to review this pull request and tell me if it makes sense or if there are any serious issues. Answer in short. Again, this one is super simple, so we don't have to worry. So now we have 2 Claude codes reviewing 2 separate pull requests. And we can see, let's say O3, okay, no need to do something else. We could start O3 on something else if we needed to, but yeah, this one should be pretty simple. Here we still run versal checks, see if it passes or if there's any linter errors. Checks haven't been completed yet. Okay, 1 left. So let's see. All right. So what is the answer here? Implementation is solid but incomplete. Okay, I don't know why we need to accept this one. That command should be accepted. Sometimes Claude Code is bugging and is asking for something that I already have accepted in my settings, local JSON. Again, why? Why are you asking for permission? Anyways, so let's see. Inline project selector. Issues to address: duplicate project filtering. Same filtering logic in both task item and project selector. Suggestions: remove duplicate filtering, since clickable project selector already handles it. Okay, let me ask a question. But is the filtering really duplicate, or is task item doing it for the task details model? Or am I getting that confused, and is task details model filtering completely different from the task item filtering? Help me gain clarity and understanding. Answer in short. So as you can see, right now I'm not telling it to do anything. I'm just trying to understand the situation more myself. And what I did is I pressed Shift Tab, which is the main keyboard shortcut inside of Claude Code. You can cycle between these modes. So I was in agent mode, aka auto accept. I switch into plan mode and ask a question. This is very important. If I'm going to close this video on a note, it needs to be on this. When you are vibe coding, you need to be vibe learning. This is the biggest difference between beginners and advanced people. Beginner vibe coders just only use the agent mode. They only use, Codex to like code. If you never click the ask button, you are a beginner. You are not trying to vibe learn. This is the most, vibe learning is even more important than vibe coding. Why? Because in a matter of 6 to 12 months, everybody will have access to these tools and workflows, right? Right now, you might feel like, yeah, I'm probably one of the only people in the world that has such an advanced workflow, and you, thanks to the fact that you're watching this, have access to this information and you can replicate this workflow for yourself. But in 12 months, in a year or two, everybody will have access to this. It will not be a terminal. It will be much more simpler UI and UX. And even complete newbies, will have access to these tools. The difference will be the taste. It will be the skill. It will be knowing when to ask a question, when to accept a pull request, stuff like that. And the only way to get there is by vibe learning. It is by using the ask feature. It is by using the plan mode and asking the AI agents to explain the stuff to improve your own understanding. So this is going to set you apart. This is not a short-term game. This is going to be long-term benefits. If you want to be super successful 3 to 4 years from now, you need to spend at least 3 hours a day maximizing your skill, whatever it is. If it's sales, marketing, coding, whatever it is, using the cutting-edge AI agents and AI models. It is easy to vibe code an MVP. It doesn't matter if you use lovable, bold, cursor, doesn't matter. It's easy to vibe code something that looks good and feels good in the short term. But if you want to build an AI startup, like I did with Vectel, and scale it to over $10,000 a month, you're not going to do that with these vibe coding tools and with not learning anything yourself. Actually, all these lessons that I've learned, right? Growing it to tens of thousands of dollars in revenue, over 10K a month in MRR, these lessons were painful and were slow. That's why you can save yourself so much time by joining your society and going through these day by day, seeing the mistakes I made and not making the same mistakes. You can save yourself a lot of time. It took me 2 months to release Vectel with payments and everything. If you do this, it will take you a lot less than 2 months, right? You'll avoid a lot of the same mistakes. You can also access the other exclusive content like the Claude Code Mastery. You can steal my Claude MD, which by the way, I built that without Claude. Like now it would take me probably 2 weeks, not 2 months. especially if I had all this content and knowledge, which all of that you can access just by joining New Society. So again, it's going to be the first link below the video. If you don't care about the advanced materials like Claude Codemaster and Ultimate Codex Guide, do it for the templates and presets, right? Here, we have all of my David's code from previous videos, my pre-built N8N automations we can just plug and play into your own life, automate your email, automate lead generation, all that stuff, and my prompts and instructions. My cursor system prompt, cursor as, everything, all of that is in the New Society. So again, if you are serious about AI, and if you want to have access to all of this exclusive content, exclusive lessons, join New Society is the first link below the video. But make sure to keep learning. Don't just vibe code. Obviously, you should be vibe coding as much as you can, but keep on learning. Develop your taste, develop your judgment, develop your decision making, because this is what is going to set you apart from everybody else.